Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. We're going to be doing another breakdown here. This is for big card UFC 253, so pretty excited to get these breakdowns going. But we're just going to jump right into it with the first fight of the night: Khadis Ibragimov taking on Danilo Marquez. And looking at this fight, Khadis Ibragimov hasn't done very well in the UFC. He's 0-3, and he's getting right back on the horse. He just got knocked out a little over a month ago, almost 2 months ago, but he's jumping right back in there, which is something you don't really like to see a lot because he could have still lingering issues with his chin from that other fight. But he's going to be taking on a guy that hasn't fought in over 2.5 years, and that guy's going to be Danilo Marquez. Marquez, you're supposed to fight in Brazil in March of this year, but the fight was canceled, and he is a training partner of Fabricio Verdum. He did corner Shogun on Fight Island in his fight with Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. And I'm assuming that's why he's getting this UFC opportunity here without fighting in over 2 years, because looking at Marquez's record, it's not very good at all. Looking at his his footage, I wasn't impressed at all. And the fighters he's beaten are very low level. So I feel like, I don't know, they saw him over there and they asked him, hey man, you want to fight? He said yes, and they got him in there because I don't think that he's UFC level at all. I mean, he's 6'6", so he's a very big guy. He's a solid black belt. He looks athletic on the feet. He moves around well, but his footwork is terrible, very spastic. He throws a good jab, and he'll jab to the body, throw some 1-2s. He does have a finish on his record with a body kick, but just doesn't look very dangerous on the feet. He'll close the distance with his hands down, chin way in the air. He's been knocked out before in a fight that I saw. It just looked real bad on the feet, and he just wants to close that distance, get in the clinch with you. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't look to have the greatest wrestling. He fought a kickboxer, Myron Dennis, who's not a very great fighter, and he really struggled to get takedowns in that fight. He did hold Dennis against the cage and hit some takedowns, took the back at some points. I felt like he won the fight, but he lost a decision in that one. And, I guess I would say he is a solid scrambler for a big guy. I've seen him jump on the back in certain situations. He does have some good submissions. He has 7 first-round finishes. But he definitely gasses out. He's only 1-1 in decisions. Only 1 second-round finish. I don't know, man. I just was not impressed at all with the way that he was striking. I wasn't impressed with his takedowns. It looks like he just wants to get a hold of you in the clinch. Wait for you to make a mistake and then try to take your back. But Khadis Ibragimov, he's looked horrible in the UFC, so it's really hard to have a lot of trust in him. He's 0-3. He had that fight in his debut with Dong Jung. I would say that was probably his best performance. Went out early, really hot, landed some big shots, had Dong Jung in some trouble, but ultimately gassed out, got finished in the later rounds, showed really bad composure, really bad cardio, really bad fight IQ. Then in his subsequent fight where he faced Ed Herman, he tried to get takedowns but was controlled in the clinch and kneed up a little bit, dominated, and couldn't get his game going. Ed Herman was able to win an easily 3-round decision. Then he fought Roman Dolidze, got knocked out, so hasn't done very well, hasn't looked very good. But with this matchup, I do feel like on the feet, Ibragimov, he goes for it. He's aggressive, is definitely going to be the better striker on the feet. He kind of throws these bolo punches. He'll attack the body, he'll throw some kicks, and it's not the best striking. It's sloppy, but it's dangerous, and he hits hard. He swarms. He tries to get finishes, and his grappling is good. He has good offensive takedowns, control in the clinch, and I just don't know. I don't see Danilo Marquez taking him down, man. This is a tough fight for me to call. Not a fight I would recommend betting on at all. I wouldn't touch this fight with a 10-foot pole, man, but I'm going to pick Khadis Ibragimov to get a knockout in this fight, either in the first or the second round. He's been the more active guy. I think he has enough grappling to keep it on the feet, and on the feet I think he's the superior striker. Marquez fought really limited, low-level competition. When he's gotten small increments of steps up, even against guys that aren't UFC level, he's lost the fight. So I'm going to have to side with Khadis Ibragimov here, but with a guy like Marquez coming off 2-year layoff, training with high-level guys, maybe he'll come out here and make me look stupid, but my pick is going to be Ibragimov. I think he's going to be able to get it done and probably get the finish. And in the second fight of the night, we got Juan Espino returning. He's a big favorite here when he takes on Jeff Hughes. Juan Espino, he's hasn't fought in a long time. I think he hasn't fought since November of 2018. In that fight, he did win the Ultimate Fighter, but he struggled with some hand injuries and things like that, and hopefully those things are behind him now. He is 39 years old, so he needs to get going now, but he's 9-1. His only pro loss is coming to a top 10 heavyweight in the world in Vitaly Minakov. That fight was in 2011, so it's been a long time since he suffered a defeat, and he had a 6-year hiatus from MMA, returned in 2017, got a few wins. And he tends to finish fights in the first round. If he can't finish, he'll go to decision. So he's a very smart fighter. He's judicious with the way that he fights. His striking is not very good, though. And, that's going to be his issue in the UFC. I mean, he did land a nice overhand right-left hook against Maurice Green. It was more because he has the ability to take you down, and just that threat kind of freezes people at times. He also has an 82-inch reach, which is very good. So he'll jab and move, throw that overhand right, left hook combination, but he's really just looking to close the distance, get on top of you. He's an elite grappler for heavyweight. He's a rare guy because he actually is a highly decorated wrestler for heavyweight, but he's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's won numerous world championships for grappling. He's even 7-0 in Senegalese wrestling, which is a very... If you could find those fights, you can't find them on YouTube. They're fun to watch. But Espino, he likes to use the single in space, get you down. He'll use the single to push fighters to the cage, chain wrestle. And then on top, he likes to sit in half guard, kind of get that Dagestani hand grip and just start going to war with you, like landing some big shots. He'll trap the wrist, like I said, and just kind of just wear on you until you want to give your back. And once you give your back, he has decent rear naked chokes. He'll try to hit arm triangles as well. And, he's a decent grappler, but it seems like after the first round, he kind of tries to preserve his energy and just ride you out to a decision. He has never gotten a finish after the first round, but he is a good fighter. He looks pretty solid on the ground, but on the feet it's just a little bit suspect, man. And if he can't control these guys or can't take them down, I think he's going to have big issues. But his opponent, Jeff Hughes, he's still in search of his first UFC win. He is the former LFA champion. He's had 3 UFC fights, and he's 0-2-1, so that's not good. He's more known for being Stipe's main training partner than anything else. I mean, he needs to get a few wins, try to get out of the guy's shadow. But with this fight, I mean, we see Jeff Hughes, man, and he doesn't throw a lot of volume. He backs himself up to the cage. I just don't really know what he's good at. He's a counter striker. He throws some decent low kicks at times, but just very limited volume. Doesn't throw in combination. He backs himself up to the cage, like I said, stands flat. He does have some decent wrestling, I guess, offensively. I've seen him hit some takedowns against guys like Maurice Green. But I've also seen him taken down and controlled against the fence when he fought Todd Duffy. And I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he'll be able to stand up a few times like he did against Duffy, get Espino tired, and start working him on the feet. But I just don't think he throws enough volume. I think the fact that he backs himself up to the cage, even if Espino's tired, he's going to be able to close that gap, control him, hang on him, get maybe some takedowns, some mat returns, and win a decision. So I feel like Espino is the safe side, but at minus 295, I would not recommend parlaying him up, playing him like that, because it's been a long time since he's fought. He has a cardio-dependent style. He's facing a guy that at least has decent wrestling, has decent get-ups, and if he doesn't come in 100% like he has in the past, if he's a little bit tired, if it gets to the third round, he's a little bit gassed, then potentially we could see some bad things happening and Jeff Hughes getting the victory. So for me, I would totally stay away from this fight in terms of a betting perspective. But for me, the pick is going to be Juan Espino. First round submission, or like I said, if he doesn't get that submission in the first round, it's probably going to decision. So picks for me is going to be Juan Espino. In this next one, we got a really interesting fight. We got 2 prospects here, and Aleksa Camur taking on William Knight. And Aleksa Camur is undefeated. He was able to get his first UFC win over Justin Ledet in his debut. And he gained a lot of experience in that fight because it was his first decision win of his career, the first time he saw the third round. And Camur's another guy, just like Jeff Hughes, who's a training partner of Stipe Miocic. So I'm sure him and Jeff Hughes have got some work in. I'm sure they're feeling confident since Stipe just got that victory on the champ Daniel Cormier. But Aleksa Camur isn't Stipe Miocic. He is a decent fighter, though. He is a good striker, good distance control. He has good movement. He's athletic. He's used to being the aggressor in most of his fights. He controls the center. He has a wide stance. He bounces in and out of range well. Really nice jab. He'll double jab into range, double jab 2 or double jab overhand right hook. He has a very nice leaping left hook, and his head movement is pretty good. He's also throws a lot of kicks. He has really nice low kicks, round kicks, front kicks. He'll throw question mark kicks, and he can throw kicks with both legs. He can throw kicks fluidly. So he's a decent striker with that realm. In his fight on the Dana White Contender Series, he also landed a really nice flying knee, rocked his opponent, and he was also rocked in that fight, showed composure and battled back, so showed a little bit of toughness there as well. And he has all but one of his wins via knockout, so he's a finisher. I haven't seen much of Aleksa Camur's grappling. I've seen fights where he drops guys, finishes them with ground and pound, but he did clinch up Fabio Choran and Justin Ledet. His last two opponents gets the cage a little bit. He was able to land some nice elbows in the clinch, gets Ledet, landed some combos off the break. He also got a late takedown, like with 10 seconds left in the round, but it was one of the first takedowns I've seen him attempt and get. I haven't really seen many guys shooting on him, but he does look like he has good distance control, fast hips. He probably has a good sprawl. He's an athlete. But one thing that did worry me about Camur is in his last fight he slowed way down in the third round and the midway point of the second round even. He's also a smaller light heavyweight, so he's not going to be towering over a lot bigger than William Knight like a lot of William Knight's opponents. Both these guys are a little bit smaller for the division. William Knight, he's a guy that's coming off the Dana White Contender Series. He's gotten 2 wins there. He's 8-1 overall, and he's just an athletic freak, man. He has finished all 8 of his wins, extreme power. His striking, it has improved, but Camur has a big advantage in the striking, man. Knight is super hittable. His chin is right in the air. He doesn't really move his head, and his boxing is very rudimentary. He's flat-footed, really struggles to get his range with punches, but he closes that gap real quick. He's a super athlete, and if he can land one of those winging overhands or those hooks on your chin, you're going to go down, man. So he just doesn't set his shots up very well on the feet. He doesn't close the distance. He doesn't feint or fake. He's more of just a brute, man. Super athlete, brute type guy, but he does have good body locks, good doubles. And when he's in top position, man, he has brutal ground and pound, like some nasty ground and pound, like fight finishing ground and pound. He has some decent submissions, like he'll kind of big man submissions, Americanas, key locks. But, he could finish the fight with a sub. He has good cardio as well, which is something that for a big guy like him is not something you usually see. I mean, I've seen him staggered with shots, come back and win. I've seen him get beat down for 2 rounds, come back and win. He's one of these guys where his grappling isn't the best. He can get taken down. His striking isn't the best. He can get pieced up. But he could finish the fight at any moment. He can close that distance and take you out. And if he gets on top of you, the fight could be over. So it's an interesting fight. I mean, I think Camur is the way better striker on the feet. And man, I've been thinking I'm going to pick William Knight for this whole time, but I'm actually going to pick Aleksa Camur, man, because I think he's going to be able to control that distance, piece him up a little bit, maybe hurt him and finish him. But if this fight gets into that second and third round, I see Camur starting to kind of breathe heavy. Knight's coming forward, throwing these big shots, trying to take him down. It's going to get nerve-wracking because William Knight could definitely get a finish. But I think that Camur could maybe get out to a lead, get a 2-1 decision victory, or get a finish in one of those early rounds. Potentially, we have seen William Knight knocked out before in the first round. So I'm going to pick Aleksa Camur, but this is not one of my more confident picks here. And up next, we have a really good fight. We got Shane Young taking on Ludwig Klein. And Shane Young, he's going to be the first city kickboxing representative to enter the Octagon Saturday. And he's going to be looking to build on his 2-fight win streak. He's going to be taking on a newcomer in the UFC here. So not a lot to gain, but it is another UFC fight he could win. Shane Young, he has lateral footwork. He has really good inside-outside leg kicks. He'll throw some nice jabs to the body, to the head. He throws a lot of oblique kicks as well and a lot of front kicks. He does a good job of feinting his way in. He'll feint the jab, then throw hard straight right. He'll feint and then come over the top with head kicks. Keeps good pressure, throws a lot of output, a lot of volume. Good double jab, good double jab right hand combination. And when he hurts guys, he'll swarm. He'll go to the body, then go back upstairs. But his defense is not very good. He kind of relies on his chin and eating shots to keep the pressure. And he just overwhelms opponents. He never slows down. He's good in the pocket. He'll mix in uppercuts, hooks with both hands. Austin Arnett was tagging him, though, with 1-2s down the pipe. He he does have 6 knockouts, and he has some decent power in his straight right hand. He's never been finished in his 17-fight career. He has really good, a really good chin, good durability, but he's very hittable, and I just don't think he's the best striker overall. He's kind of just like a guy that uses his toughness and uses some skill like feints, fakes, but nothing elite to win the fights. But he's not like a great all-quality, world striker. So he's kind of a guy that uses his toughness to win these fights, and he does do a good job mixing in level changes. He has a good double leg, and he can pull guys into takedowns, and he has good control in the clinch as well. He'll throw some nice knees, nice elbows, but doesn't really have good top control, so when he takes you down, guys can't get back up. And he does have 4 submissions, though, and he has 10. He's finished 10 of his 13 wins overall. Really good cardio, but his opponent, Ludwig Klein, he's going to be making his debut. He's 25 years old here, 16-2 record. And Klein's going to be the first fighter from Slovakia in the UFC. He's also riding a 7-fight win streak, and he's fought some solid competition in that stretch. He's knocked out 6 of the 7 guys as well. And he's a fast-twitch, dangerous counter-striker, very good in-and-out movement, closes the gap very quickly. He'll come forward, good fakes, good feints, cuts the cage off. He forces a lot of fighters to fight on the back foot. He has a really good jab, really heavy kicks, really fast 1-2, really good jab, low kick combination, jab, high kick combination. His head kick is nasty. He throws it quickly, he has really little tell. He's finished multiple fighters with head kicks, quick counter punching combos. He likes to counter with a lead hook to a head kick combination. He throws quick straight punches. He rips the body. He'll throw some heavy round and front kicks to the body. And he's super fast, technical. He's dangerous. He's going to be a handful for fighters on the feet, I believe. And he has 7 knockouts in his career. He also is pretty good in the clinch. He has a lot of muscle. He can bully fighters. He'll get the Muay Thai plump, throw some big knees. And he's good at digging double underhooks, driving guys to the fence, hitting body locks, hitting double legs. And on top, he doesn't have the best top control, nor is he very dangerous. But, he actually is more dangerous off his back than on top. He has a dangerous guard, good armbar, good triangle, and a really nice guillotine. And he does give his back when he stands up, though, so I have seen him, he's lost via rear naked choke before. But he showed some pretty good takedown defense against Lucas Sajewski, who's a UFC veteran. And he showed good balance and defense defending the single. And, he was even able to get on top of Sajewski and control him for a little bit. And Klein has been submitted once in his career via rear naked, like I said. He fought a really tall, long opponent who was able to take his back in a scramble and choke him out. But Klein has 8 submissions of his own. A lot of the submissions come off of his back. And Klein's cardio isn't the best. But, he is a kill or be killed guy. He's only been in decision 1 time in 18 fights. He's only even been in the 3rd round twice in his career. He likes to get in, get out, which makes fights exciting. But it's interesting because in this fight, both these guys have big advantages. Where Klein kind of slows down, Shane Young has great cardio. And where Shane Young is kind of a punching bag, Ludwig Klein hits really hard and is just going to be the lot better striker, the more athletic guy as well. And on the feet, especially early, Ludwig's going to piece Shane Young up, in my opinion. He's too technical, too fast, too explosive, too good. And Shane Young needs to know that the first round he has to survive a lot to try to keep coming forward, force the grappling, work the body, try to throw low calf kicks, and just slow down Ludwig a little bit. And Shane Young is super tough. I could maybe see him surviving the first, losing the second, winning the third. But I just think Ludwig, whether he takes him out or it goes to decision, he's the superior striker with good takedown defense. He has some decent grappling himself. And his style is going to be tough with the counter ability and the ability to move backwards and fight for a guy like Shane Young who likes to pressure heavily. I'm confident that Ludwig will be able to get the win. And I'll actually say he gets a decision. But don't be surprised if he gets the first round KO against Shane Young. So my pick's going to be Ludwig Klein. And it's a decently confident play here. Man, I'm going to be quick on this one, man, because, I don't think this one really, if you want to bet on this fight, go ahead, but I'm going to be staying as far away from this fight as I can, man. Diego Sanchez, Jake Matthews. Diego Sanchez, 38 years old. He's hooked up with this guy, Joshua Fabia, and, obviously doesn't look like the best coach, doesn't seem like the best environment for training camp, and been doing some really strange shit. He looks real bad in his last 2 fights, but To trust a guy like Jake Matthews minus 700 chalk, even minus 500, minus 400, to me is it's kind of ridiculous because I don't know. I mean, both these guys are grapplers. Diego has the better gas tank. He is the lot smaller guy, but I don't see Jake Matthews being able to just stop the scrambles of Diego if they grapple. But the thing is, though, man, Jake Matthews, I think, is going to have a big size advantage, and I think that on the feet, Matthews is going to be the lot faster guy, the superior striker, and he's probably going to be able to deny the takedowns and just dominate Diego, beat him up, maybe even knock him out. So I definitely got to favor Jake Matthews here. I think that obviously he's the better fighter at this point in their careers, but if this fight gets to the third round and I see Jake Matthews huffing and puffing and Diego screaming yes, I just don't want to have money on Jake Matthews, man. So yeah, I'm going to pick Jake Matthews via finish probably, but he could win a decision as well. I don't know. I'm picking Jake Matthews, but that's a really weird fight. I would just totally stay away from it because I can never trust Jake Matthews. It's just not a guy that I could trust. I mean, I've seen him lose to real low-level guys in the UFC, man. Guys that shouldn't even be in the UFC. Like, this guy's out here losing to Andrew Holbrook, man. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, Jake Matthews is going to be a fairly confident pick for me, but just totally staying away. Up next here, we got another fight with the city kickboxing guy, Brad Riddell, taking Alex Deleco Silva here. And Brad Riddell, 2-0 in the UFC so far. He defeated a very tough Magomed Mustafaev in his last fight. That is a pretty high-level win. Alex De Silva, he bounced back from his debut loss to the UFC. Got a pretty good win over Rodrigo Vargas. Dominant win there. Alex De Silva, you look at his record, it's an amazing record, 21-2. But he's just 1-1 in the UFC. Kind of has a padded record, and he's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's a very good striker, though. He's big, he's rangy, he's aggressive. He has really nice front kicks, really fast front kicks to the body, round kicks to the head. He'll dart in, dart out with some nice punches. He's athletic, explosive, powerful, but not a lot of great technique on the feet, and he definitely slows down. I feel like Riddell on the feet obviously is going to be the way better, more technical striker, more power as well. Like Brad Riddell, man, he's excellent. He has great fakes, great feints, really good forward pressure, really nasty left hook. He'll throw the left hook body head. He has a really nasty left hook right uppercut combination, very heavy overhand right. He could pull counter very well. He'll come forward with 3-4 punch combinations, really nice round kicks, body kicks, front knees to the body. He's just very good striker, man. On the feet, I think he has it all day, and I don't even think it's a competitive fight on the feet. I mean, obviously, he's fought not low-level strikers, but MMA strikers like Jamie Malarkey, and he's gotten rocked. If he goes to war with De Silva, anything can happen, but technically wise, he's way, way better. Silva, he is a good submission grappler, and he's going to want to try to push that, in my opinion, but his wrestling does not look great. He's not a super active wrestler. He did hit some nice level changes into doubles against the fence. In his last fight, he was able to defend a couple takedowns and take top position. And on top, he does have pretty good ground and pound. He doesn't really have the best top control, though. He gets swept a lot. He does have a few rear naked choke victories, and when he can take the back, he'll get the seatbelt, good control there. He was able to dominate his last fight and get a lot of top control, but I don't really think Vargas is that good on the ground, and Vargas was initiating a lot of the grappling. And Alex De Silva doesn't have very good takedown defense. Even though it looked improved in his last fight with Vargas, he's more of a guy that likes to counter with guillotines rather than defend the takedown. And he likes being on his back, but he's super dangerous. He'll attack arm bars, triangles, he'll look for sweeps, he'll roll for leg locks, and he's always attacking. But you saw in his fight with Alexander Yakovlev after the first round, slows way down, and Yakovlev was able to catch him in a guillotine when he was going for a takedown in the start of the second. And Brad Riddell showed in his last fight, yes, he can get taken down, but he can get back up, he can take you down, he could reverse you, he could sweep you. He's very strong in the clinch, heavy hips. He's going to be the bigger guy in there and the stronger guy in there, in my opinion. Leleco is going to be a little bit taller and rangier, but just Riddell is a little thicker. And I think Riddell will be able to dominate the clinch. I think he'll be able to deny the takedown attempts. Don't jump into Silva's guard if he pulls guard. Don't do anything stupid like that. And if it stays on the feet, he should probably be able to get a knockout. De Silva slows down. Riddell's shown good cardio. So I'm going to say late second, early third round TKO for Brad Riddell here. And in this next fight, we got another interesting fight with Hakeem Dawodu taking on Zubaira Tukhgov. And Hakeem Dawodu is one of Canada's best fighters right now. He's won off 4 consecutive victories, but still hasn't quite had that breakout performance yet. He's coming off 2 split decisions in that win streak. And Zubaira Tukhgov, he bounced back with a really nice knockout victory in his last fight. He landed his signature right hand, put down Kevin Aguilar, put him out. And Tukhgov has an impressive record. He's 4-1-1. This is a big matchup for both guys. The winner will likely get a top 15 opponent. And when you look at Hakeem, I mean, he's known as a striker, and he's a really good striker. You know, he has good forward pressure. He throws a lot of volume, a lot more volume than Tukhgov. So if it goes to decision, that could potentially be a factor. Throws a lot of really nice low kicks. He'll throw really nice combinations with the hands. And he's a technical guy, and he walks you down. He gains confidence from, walking you down. But he doesn't really cut the cage off very well, in my opinion. We saw that when he fought Hori, that Japanese guy. And he tends to kind of follow. And when he lands punches, man, or when he throws punches, he doesn't return his hands to his chin. He's very, very hittable. And I think that's going to be his downfall in this fight, man, because I think that Zubaira Tukhgov is just going to catch him when he's in one of these exchanges and drop him and put him out, because I think Zubaira definitely has a lot of power. He has more power than Hakeem Dawodu. And I just think Dawodu is not defensively sound, man. I mean, I've seen Dawodu get clipped with big counters. I've seen him get dropped by guys like Danny Henry. And you don't want to be getting hit against a guy like Zubaira Tukhgov. And if Zubaira can't hit him, then maybe you'll just grapple fuck him to a victory as well. And he could potentially use that to disguise the overhand right like he always does. And I just feel like at one point he's going to touch Dawodu's chin, hurt him, and take him out here. So I'm actually fairly confident that Zubaira Tukhgov gets the win here. I just think he's a little bit of a better fighter than Hakeem Dawodu. And yeah, so I got Zubaira Tukhgov here pretty confidently via finish, probably a first round knockout. In this fight, we got a really interesting fight because we got a girl in Caitlyn Vieira who returned to the UFC last year, maybe early this year. I'm not 100% sure. Very bad loss, was sparked out cold by Irene Aldana. She's going to be taking on a girl who's coming off back-to-back wins, a really nice victory in her last fight as a big underdog. And Vieira is still the favorite. So it's a little bit interesting there. It's kind of like people want to kind of bait you to bet on Sijara Eubanks. But looking over Caitlyn Vieira's career, she's done very well against grapplers in the UFC. She's been able to just out-grapple them, stay on top, control the position, and just be the better, superior grappler. On the feet, we did see, her chin finally got cracked in her last fight, and that's something you have to worry about because her style, she's a girl that she's pretty good on the feet. She's sturdy, she's durable, she's rough, she's rugged, and she likes to be all the way in or all the way out. So she'll be on the outside, cross the distance with a punch combination, get you on the clinch, hit some body locks, hit some judo throws, control you on top, beat you up. And she has really good hand fighting, good parrying, good just dirty boxing, good striking inside. She has heavy hooks. She has power for the weight class. And I definitely feel like she's the girl that hits harder here. So Sijara Eubanks, she just doesn't look like she has very much power to me in her hands. It doesn't seem like a lot of girls respect her striking. Even Julia Avila, we saw Avila just crash the distance and go crazy against Eubanks, try to go to war with her. And Eubanks was able to take her down because of that. But I feel like Avila didn't respect the power of Eubanks. And I don't think that Vieira, unless her chin really is truly gone, I don't think that Sijara Eubanks is just going to go out there and knock her out. So I feel like Caitlyn Vieira on the feet is going to be able to do what she wants, close that gap. In space, it's going to be interesting because Eubanks is going to be able to box her up a little bit. I feel like she's going to have the better hands, maybe the better movement, a little bit faster. And if she can, stick and move, angle, maybe she can make it a tough fight for Vieira. But I just feel like Avila in her last fight, it was a good win, but Julia Avila came in short notice and it seemed like she really wanted to get the finish. She was fighting really wild at the start of the rounds, getting taken down. I feel like Vieira, she's going to be more composed. She's going to slowly work, close that distance, hand fight, parry, come over the top with shots, make Sijara work in the clinch, maybe even get Sijara down, tire her out. I don't think Sijara's just cardio has been resolved just because she beat Julia Avila, and I don't know. I'm going to fade Sijara again. Not that I'm going to bet on Ketlen or anything. I'm staying away from this fight, but I'm going to pick against Sijara again. If she wins this fight, maybe I'm going to have to reevaluate her as a fighter. But my pick here is going to be Caitlyn Vieira to get the win via decision. And we got the third guy from City Kickboxing here, Kai Kara-France. He's going to be taking on Brandon Royval. I don't really like this fight, man, because I'm a fan of Brandon Royval. I like his style. I like his personality, his story, the way that he fights. And I feel like they might be pushing him a little bit too soon here, man. Because when you look at Kai Kara, I mean, he's fought the best of the best. He's fought really good fighters. And we've seen what Tyson Nam, has been able to do to these steps down. You know, he fought guys like Kai Kara-France, guys like Sergio Pettis, didn't look the best. And then he's gotten that step down in competition, fought guys like up-and-comers, maybe in the same kind of range as Brandon Royval. And he's murked those guys. So kind of just shows a little bit. But Royval, man, I like him as a prospect. Like I said, on the feet, he's very high volume. He's fast. He's long. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, 5-inch height advantage in this fight. And he throws a nice jab. And he has some good 1-2s. He has straight punch drive-bys that he throws. Throws a lot of spinning kicks, flying knees, high kicks. Very wild guy. I mean, very wild. And he's tough. When he gets hit, he'll come forward, try to get it back. He tries to drown guys with volume, forward pressure. He kind of tries to force guys to shoot takedowns, but his striking is very open. He drops his hands. His chin is there to be hit. He's there to be countered. And he will be knocked out if that isn't shored up. I don't know if he's going to get knocked out by Kai Kara-France, but someone's going to touch that chin eventually if he doesn't shore that up. But he does have 3 knockouts, and his craziness and his size and reach kind of make him dangerous, man. And it's interesting because he's not afraid to throw flying knees, high kicks, and all this craziness because he's not scared of being on his back at all. He's a really good black belt. He has submissions that he'll shoot from all positions. He's really good at creating scrambles with his submissions, and he can catch submissions off his back. He can just chain submissions together, and he eventually gets you, man. That's what he did to Tim Elliott. He put him through the blender, man. He put him through all these different submissions. He was working him. He was tiring him out. Tim Elliott would take him down. He'd create a scramble, get back up. He'd put him in a submission. He'd make him work. Tim Elliott gassed out, and Royval's cardio is crazy, man. He has some of the best cardio in the division, really good cardio. And he weaponizes that cardio as well. He pushes a really fast pace. He stays in your face. He eats shots. He forces scrambles on the ground, constantly moving. And when you make a mistake, he's like an anaconda. He'll lock you up and he'll take you out. But when you look at his wrestling isn't that high level. He uses his striking and the way that he drowns you to make you shoot bad takedown attempts, to get you tired and make you make a mistake, end up on your back somehow. But he's not in there hitting double legs, hitting single legs. And like I said, he's very open to being hit on the feet. And when you look at a guy like Kai Kara-France, really good distance control, good counter ability, and he hits hard. It's not like he's a guy that doesn't hit hard for the division. And he's really good at slipping and ripping, touching and pulling, landing and angling off. And I just feel like he might be able to sit down Royval with that overhand or that right hand in the first round. So I do think there's potential for him to get an early finish actually in this fight, but I feel like if he can't get the finish in the first, he's going to try to go into a coasting type of win because Royval's not going to stop, man. Royval's going to keep coming forward, stay in his face. And we've seen before Kai Kara-France kind of break a little bit or get a little bit tired in that third round and really drop that third round in a bad way a couple times. So he needs to be careful. I mean, if he gets tired and Brandon Royval jumps on his back in that third round, gets on top of him, it's going to be sweating time for guys that are Kai Kara-France backers, but I feel like on the feet he's much better. He controls the distance. He can pull counter, like I said, angle. He's good at, walking guys into shots, just being technical. So I think that he's going to be able to finesse him, even if he doesn't get the finish in that first round, win a decision. But this is a fight where if Brandon Royval shows a little bit of improvements, if he can force Kai Kara-France to make a mistake early. I mean, dude, if these guys are dry and they get on the ground somehow, Royval can submit him real easily. So this is a trap fight, in my opinion, to be betting on Kai at over 2-1 favorite against this type of dangerous guy. I mean, if he wins, he might make it look super easy, and you might say, oh, that was a super easy bet. But I don't know. To me, Brandon Royval is a dangerous fighter, but I am going to pick Kai Kara-France. I'm going to say he wins the decision, but like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he can actually get him out of here because of the way that Royval fights. And up next here, man, we got one of the first 2 title fights here. We got Dominick Reyes taking on Jan Blachowicz for the vacant light heavyweight belt. And man, this is a hell of a fight. We got a lot of people's current light heavyweight champion, Dominick Reyes. I mean, a lot of people think he won that fight against John Jones, taking on Jan Blachowicz, who's coming off some really nasty knockouts, 3 consecutive wins. I think he's won like 7 out of his last 8 fights. And man, this is a really fun fight. I mean, both these guys have advantages against each other. They have ways they could win. They're both going to be extremely hungry fighting for a UFC title. And the first guy we're going to talk about here a little bit is Jan Blachowicz. And Jan, I mean, obviously he's a really, really good kickboxer. And it's interesting because he's a right-handed guy. He works out of the orthodox stance, though. And it's interesting because he likes to switch stances a lot. So he's a guy that's a little bit tricky. Like, he'll switch stances to throw that rear leg kick. And it kind of fools guys at times because you'll switch stances. He'll throw the jab with the opposite hand as well. And he's a tricky guy to fight. He has a really good jab. He likes to stick out that jab and throw it with a lot of power. And he's good at, turning that jab into a left hook, throwing the jab, straight right hand down the middle. And that check left hook, man, I mean, we saw that check left hook against Luke Rockhold, put him down like a sack of potatoes. He landed that nasty uppercut that he lands in a lot of fights. His knockout at Corey Anderson was beautiful. He does a really good job of throwing the left hook to a body kick combination. And his counter uppercuts are really good, man. I mean, he was countering Jimmy Manuwa with a lot of really nice counter uppercuts. His power isn't elite power, but he definitely has enough power to knock you out, enough power to put you down. And when he's going to be looking at Dom Reyes on the feet, Dom Reyes isn't as tricky on the feet. Dom Reyes, he likes to throw that 1-2. He's a really good southpaw, and he's really big. And, I mean, he looks for that left kick, man. That left kick, the 1-2. He has that sniper left hand. And Reyes, I mean, he has that one-punch power. So he's willing to move around. He throws that left kick to the legs, to the body, to the head. He'll switch up the target. He has that really nice left straight down the middle. Really nice uppercut, lead uppercut counter. And in his last fight, he was throwing some nice hook flurries inside. He was more aggressive closing the distance, especially in the early rounds. And he also is a decent wrestler. He has a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I definitely feel like Jan Blachowicz is the better grappler here. He is a black belt. I feel like he's a little bit bigger frame. If he can get on top of Dominick Reyes, he might be able to do some damage. But we saw Dominick Reyes in his last fight really, really show good takedown defense. But in the later rounds, he was kind of dominated in the clinch a bit, beat up. He definitely slowed down. His volume went way down. And Reyes is a guy that hasn't won a lot of third rounds in the UFC. He's a guy that slows down. He's finished a lot of his wins in the first round. And Jan Blachowicz, he's a guy that at least he can keep his cardio for all 3 rounds. I mean, he's not going to stop for 5 rounds or 3 rounds. He's going to keep that same pace. He's deliberate. More of a counter striker, but he walks you down. And I just feel like he's going to be attacking the low calf of Dominick Reyes a lot, which Reyes struggles with. Reyes, to me, is going to have to maybe catch you on here early in these first couple rounds with the straight left down the middle, with the high kick, with the body shot, and take him out. Because I feel like as the fight goes on, man, I think that Jan is going to stay in his face. He's going to stick the jab. He's going to work the body a little bit with his kicks. And he's going to be able to start walking him down. I think that as the fights go on, Dom Reyes is, fast twitch ability, his ability that, it's God's given him, the ability to move, the speed and all that is going to go away a little bit. Jan's going to start taking over. And just the mental side of it, I think Jan Blachowicz is extremely focused. He wants the belt. And Dominick Reyes, I did hear an interview where he's talking about he got himself out of shape and he wanted a little bit more time for this fight after he figured out that John Jones wasn't going to fight him and was moving up to heavyweight. He kind of got a little bit depressed and I don't know. I mean, it seems like maybe he's going to take Jan a little bit lightly. He's saying he's the champ already. He didn't really take a lot of responsibility for gassing out in the later rounds or slowing down and losing that decision. He's acting like he won. He's the champion. And when you start seeing that, it's kind of a dangerous thing because guys can, I don't want to say he gets a big head or something like that, but if you see guys that lose and they can't accept the loss and they're, saying they won the fight and they aren't giving themselves any reasons why they could have lost. They aren't saying, well, I did slow down, well, I could have done more in the 4th and 5th round. So to me, it's like, I don't know. I feel like Reyes maybe isn't going to take this fight as serious. He's going to come in here, and I just think Jan's going to get it done, man. I got that feeling. So my pick's going to be Jan Blachowicz. I know it's probably not going to be a popular pick. I think the line is crazy too, man. Like, why is Dominick Reyes almost a 3-1 favorite? Because he beat John Jones in some people's opinions. I mean, looking at their records, I mean, Jan has the much better resume. He's beaten the better fighters. He's much more tenured. He's much more experienced. So it's going to be a good one, man. I mean, this is Jan's last chance at the UFC belt. Reyes, he's younger. He's sprier. He has more of a name. He's definitely going to have more chances to take that belt. So it's in a very, very important fight. More important fight for Jan than Reyes. And I'm going to say Jan, seizes the opportunity, gets a finish, or gets a decision and wins the belt, man. So my pick is going to be Jan Blachowicz to get the win here in the co-main event. And finally, in the main event, 2 undefeated fighters going at it for the middleweight belt. Israel Adesanya, I mean, he's getting ready for his stiffest test yet, most likely. He's 19-0. He's been flawless thus far in his MMA career. He did have a lackluster fight his last time out against Yoel Romero. But this fight with Costa, man, this fight should be sweet. It can't be bad, right? And Adesanya and Costa, they've been going back and forth for months. It's finally going to go down. Paulo Costa, he only needed 5 fights himself to earn his first shot at UFC gold. He was able to get a unanimous decision victory over Yoel Romero in his last fight, solidified his spot as the number 1 contender. And he's been basically flawless himself in MMA. He's 13-0 record overall, but he did lose on the Ultimate Fighter. He lost a 3-round decision there, kind of got out-grappled a little bit. And this will far and away be the best striker Costa's ever fought. Looking at his record, other than Yoel, I mean, it's arguable he's beat another top 15 guy. He beat Uriah Hall, who is ranked right now, but a very inconsistent fighter. He has wins over Johnny Hendricks, Gareth McClellan, Olawale Bangboshe. So, I mean, other than Uriah and Yoel Romero, I mean, let's be honest. He's faced no one really. I mean, bunch of bums. And Israel Adesanya, he's definitely fought the better fighters. I mean, he's fought guys like Kelvin Gastelum. He's fought guys like Derek Brunson, Robert Whittaker, Anderson Silva, Brad Tavares, Marvin Vettori, Yoel Romero. I mean, he's fought some crazy hitters in the UFC. He's fought some beasts, man. He has one of the, he has a great resume. He's beaten a lot better guys than Paulo Costa, 100%. And when you're looking at the skill level, man, I just don't know why. Why are a lot of people picking Paulo Costa? Maybe I'm going to look dumb. I mean, I was saying this when he fought Robert Whittaker. I was saying I think it's going to be an easy fight. I might look stupid if he loses the fight, and he went out there and he made it an easy fight. A lot of people were on Whittaker that fight. And when I'm just looking at this fight, I mean, we got Israel Adesanya. He's the kickboxer. He's going to be the better striker. And Paulo Costa, he's the brute. He's going to be trying to, just take the shots, come forward, beat up the body, get him tired, and then take him out. Because I just feel like people have a lot of misconceptions about Paulo Costa, man. I mean, to me, he doesn't really cut the cage off very well. He has real short arms. He's going to be at an 8-inch reach at disadvantage in this fight. So I think it's going to really struggle to get inside to pin Israel down. I think Israel is going to be sticking and moving, angling. Yoel Romero was standing, straight against the cage. He was just flat-footed like he is in a lot of fights. Uriah Hall, he was doing well early, piecing him up with the jab. He flashed him in the second round with the straight right hand. He was sticking and moving, touching Paulo as he was coming in. But Paulo Costa, man, I'm kind of not giving him the best love right now, but I got to give him some credit. He has a great chin. He's a warrior. He's willing to get hit. You saw him when he got hit against Uriah Hall. He got dropped with the jab, got back up, was laughing, got rocked. He was laughing, calling him in. So he's a big guy. He's kind of a weight bully. He gets really big, could take a lot of punishment, comes forward, beats up the body, wears you down with forward pressure, and takes you out via TKO. But a lot of people, I think, have this misconception like Paulo Costa's a knockout artist. He has one-punch KO power. Like, who has this guy knocked out? He's knocked out no one. He has all TKO victories. When you look at his wins in the UFC, like when he fought Uriah Hall, he finished him with a body shot. When he fought Johnny Hendricks, he finished him with a body shot. He beats a lot of guys with body shots, with accumulation of shots. And I just don't think he's going to slow down Israel, man. I don't think that he's going to get Israel to stand flat where he can attack the body. I think that Israel's going to be constantly angling, picking him apart as he comes in, moving, touching him, kicking his legs, just fucking him up, man. I think, and I see some people saying like Paulo could maybe take him down, but Paulo's grappling. I mean, he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and we haven't really been able to see that part of his game. So maybe he is a good submission artist. Maybe he's good off his back, good on top if he can cement position. But his wrestling is not very good. I mean, I will say I was impressed with his defensive wrestling improvements against Yoel Romero. But he's gotten taken down by guys like Olawale Bangboshe. He's been taken down by Uriah Hall. And he has no takedowns in the UFC himself. So for me to expect him to come in here with a different game plan, try to get takedowns, I think that's the last thing he wants to do. I think that he's going to still want to come in here. And his game plan has to be he's going to come in, try to cut the cage off, attack the body, work on Israel Adesanya, beat him down, and try to, wear him out and finish him, man. But it's tough for me to see that because Paulo Costa only has about 7.5 minutes of cardio against guys that aren't going that hard. I mean, when you see him fight Yoel Romero, that fight isn't at that high. I mean, it's a super high pace from Costa. He's throwing a ton of volume. He's walking him down, but Yoel isn't returning. Yoel isn't attacking the body. Yoel isn't hitting him at all. I mean, Yoel is landing these flurries every once in a while. He's fighting like Yoel Romero, where he fights in bursts, and Paulo's able to control the pace and walk him down and beat him up. But if he's getting touched up as he walks forward and Israel's angling, not giving him his chances to hit him, that cardio is going to go down really quickly like it did. It went down in the Yoel fight too. I mean, you saw in the third round, he lost that third round. And the second round, he was slowing down after like the 7.5 minute mark of the fight. So I feel like he has around 8 minutes of cardio. He isn't a one-punch guy. I mean, when you look at this, I don't think that Paulo's even close to the hardest hitter that Israel has fought. Israel fought Yoel, man. Yoel definitely hits harder than Costa. He fought Whitaker. Whitaker definitely hits harder than Costa. He fought Kelvin Gastelum. He fought Derek Brunson. Even Anderson Silva, man. I mean, these guys have a lot of knockouts on their record. They have one-punch KOs. They got one-shot knockouts. Borrachinha, he's a guy that beats you up with volume. He finishes you with the accumulation of shots. He's not going to one-shot a guy. I mean, it's possible. He's a big, powerful dude, but it's never happened before. I just think Israel all day, man. I think Israel's the way better striker. I think he's going to embarrass this guy, man. I think that he's going to walk him into shots. Paulo's going to be trying to close that distance. He's going to be disappearing like Houdini, coming out of another angle, coming back to the side of the cage. Paulo's going to chase him again. He's going to touch him up again. And I mean, a lot of people say, Israel doesn't have a lot of power. You can't knock him out. He's not going to hurt him. But I don't know about that, man. I mean, I've seen Uriah Hall rock him. I've seen Uriah Hall drop him. And Israel's a much more clinical guy. He's going to go for the finish if he hurts you a lot better than Uriah Hall is going to do. And yeah, I just think Israel's going to finish this guy, man. I think he's going to finish him probably in the first 2 or 3 rounds in the fight early. I think that Israel is just a lot better than Paulo Costa, plain and simple. He's going to be a confident pick. I'm going to bet on him. And yeah, I got Israel Adesanya all day in this fight. Definitely think he's going to get the win. I think he's going to get a knockout victory. I just think it's a great matchup for him, man. It's like when you look at a guy like Anderson Silva, he's similar to Israel Adesanya, right? And all the guys that pressured him, that attacked Anderson, that came at Anderson on the feet, they got dealt with, man. They got knocked out. And Israel Adesanya, I mean, he did struggle with the guy Yoel Romero in his last fight. He's a counter guy who was sticking on the back foot, making Israel push the fight. And just like Anderson, when you see those guys like Damian Maia, Talis Latis, Patrick Cote, where they didn't go after Anderson, they were lackluster, subpar fights that he won. But Paulo Costa is going to push that pace. He's going to try to get in his face. He's going to try to knock him out. And I just think that he's going to have poor technique. When he throws punches, he doesn't bring his hands back to his face. He's going to get countered. He's going to get pieced up. And he slows down in fights. I don't think Israel's going to slow down. I don't think Israel's going to get touched that much, man. I really don't. I mean, I think that Israel will not get hit that much in this fight. So I'm going to pick Israel Adesanya, finish first 2 rounds. And for my parlay of the week, it's going to be Brad Riddell, Israel Adesanya as the parlay of the week. My most confident pick is going to be Israel Adesanya as the pick. Another couple plays that I'm going to play probably are Zubaira Tukhgov as a play. Jan Blachowicz potentially as well. Ludwig Klein, I'm going to play him. And yeah, that's it as of now. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. Make sure to drop a like down below, put a comment, tell me what you think, who you're picking, everything like that, who you're betting on. And I'll try to get back to every comment like always. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting, and I'll talk to you guys later.